I want to take you somewhere, not far, just back for a moment. A moment that changed how I saw the world and how I saw myself. Picture a crowded meeting room in London. Gray walls, fluorescent lights, tea that tasted like disappointment. You know what I mean. I'm sitting at the table, watching a woman present an idea that wasn't hers, word for word. It was an idea of someone I knew, someone brilliant, thoughtful, and invisible. And as the room nodded in approval, she sat silently in the corner, hands folded, pretending not to care. That's the day I realized something. Talent will get you into the room, but visibility decides who gets heard. Today on Unboxed, I'm Mona Shanae, and this is the power of visibility, the story of how staying unseen can cost you everything, and how stepping into the light can change everything. Let me tell you a little bit about her, the invisible genius. She was the type of woman who carried worlds in her head. She wasn't smart. She just wasn't just smart. She was scary smart. She saw patterns before everyone else noticed the questions. She had lived experience, intuition, strategy, the whole package. But she had a curse, a quiet one. She believed that being excellent meant being silent, that good works whisper, that humility wins, that leadership finds you. So she stayed in the background, convincing herself it was noble, convincing herself she was safe. And then that meeting happened. Someone else took her idea. Someone louder, someone bolder, someone who understood something she didn't. The world does not reward ghosts. And she disappeared further. And when I spoke to her afterwards, she smiled. That polite, exhausted smile people wear when they're breaking quietly. And she said, I don't want attention. I just want to do my job. And I remember thinking, no, you don't want attention. You don't want recognition, impact, respect, progress, space, voice. And those things require one thing that you're running from: visibility. Most people don't choose invisibility, they inherit it. Maybe you were raised in a family where being quiet was being good. Maybe you learned that being talented made people uncomfortable. Maybe you watched people punished for ambition, so you deemed yours. Maybe your culture taught you not to shine. Maybe your workplace rewarded silence. Maybe your past taught you that standing out is dangerous. So you learned to shrink, and shrinking became normal, comfortable, expected. But here's the twist: visibility is not the opposite of humility, it's the opposite of erasure. You can be visible and gracious, visible and kind, visible and impactful, but invisible, invisible and talented, invisible and brilliant, that combination doesn't change the world, it goes lost in it. I'll tell you something I've never told anyone out loud on a podcast. There was a time in my career when I made myself small, deliberately. Not because I lacked confidence, but because the room lacked courage. People told me, tone it down, don't ruffle feathers, wait your turn, let others speak first. And for a while, I listened. I thought playing my small and easy part made it easier to work with, more acceptable, less threatening. But one day, I saw someone with a fraction of my experience walk straight into an opportunity I'd been silently preparing for, not because they were better, not because they were smarter, not because they were qualified, but simply because they were visible. And in that moment, I promised myself, never again will I shrink to fit a room I'm destined to reshape. Let me tell you what visibility really is. It's not about being loud. It's not being flashy, nor performing. Visibility is presence. It's courage. It's honesty. It's authenticity. It's saying, here I am. Here is what I know. And here is how I serve. It's stepping forward instead of waiting to be invited. It's taking up the space you've earned, not the space someone else allows. Visibility is not a spotlight, it's a stance. So let me give you the three types of invisible people. Once you know these people, you'll see them everywhere. First one is the hidden expert. They're brilliant, quiet, waiting to be recognized. These people change organizations quietly and burn out quietly too. Secondly, it's the shadow operator. They do everything, support everyone, carry the weight of 5 people, but no one knows their name outside of their team. And thirdly, there's the diminished self. They used to shine, but life convinced them to turn the volume down until one day they're so quiet they don't even recognize their own voice. If you saw yourself in any of those, stay with me because this next part is just for you. Visibility is an awakening. It's the moment you stop whispering your value and start owning it. It's the moment your ideas gain gravity, your voice gains weight, your story gains legs. Visibility doesn't change who you are, it reveals who you've been all along. And something magical happens when you stop shrinking. Opportunities stop passing you by. People start remembering your name. Rooms start making space for you before you enter. Your presence becomes magnetic. Not because you're shouting, but because you're standing tall. If you take nothing else from this episode, take this. Visibility is not about being seen by everyone. It's about being seen by the people who matter. People who can value you. People who can learn from you. People who can champion you. People who can amplify your voice. And those people, they cannot find you in the shadows. I'll leave you with a picture I started with in the very beginning, and that's the woman in the meeting room. Brilliant, quiet, invisible. I think about her often, not because she wasn't seen, but because she could have been very extraordinary if she had allowed herself to step forward. Visibility is not arrogance. Visibility is responsibility. Visibility is leadership. And the world needs leaders who aren't afraid to be seen. I'm Mona Shanae, and this is Unboxed. If this episode stirred something in you, follow, share, and send it to someone who needs the reminder. And the reminder, you were not born to live small. You were born to be seen.